Good morning, Year 6, and happy World Book Day. Today is our final reading lesson for our remote learning period. Well done for all of you who have tried so hard, achieving great reading work. I've seen some fantastic examples of opinions for questions where we've had our debates, fantastic facts and opinion responses, and spotting some mistakes as well. So really well done to you all. And before I even finish, well done to every single one of you who've been reading out aloud every single day the assigned sections that I've been setting. So massive well done, and I cannot wait to see you all back in the building on Monday. So we're going to begin with reading our text all about our Siberian tiger, and then answer some questions. And at the end of the lesson, I have a really fun activity for you all to participate in. So I'm just going to share the text on my screen. And we're going to do a paired reading activity, which means we're going to all read sections of the text. So it's really important that you're following along the text with me. So I'm going to begin, and when I ask you to take ownership of the reading, you are going to continue. Siberian Tiger. An orphaned cub gets a storybook ending, and we know an orphan is a child whose parents have unfortunately passed away, but it doesn't just refer to a child, it can be an animal as well. Biting gusts of wind pummel a Siberian tiger cub as she pads through a snowy forest in eastern Russia. It's been days since the baby's mother left their den to hunt for food. Now searching for her mum in the woods, the cub has become so cold that her fluffy tail has gone completely numb. Without help, the exhausted animal won't make it. Too tired to go on, the cub drops to the ground and her body sinks into the freezing snow. I'd like you now to continue reading Warming Up, but you're going to stop right at the end of this bracket here where the I is. So please continue reading and stop there for me to continue. Fantastic reading, Year 6. It's now my turn to read. The official carries the tiger to his outdoor sauna, a heated relaxation room, and gently places her inside. He feeds the animal warm milk, raw eggs, and meat. Then he phones the Wildlife Conservation Society, which runs a nearby centre. Biologist Del Miguel, who works at the organisation, arrives at the official's house to examine the cub. He estimates that she is about 4 months old. Wild tiger mums care for their young until they are 1.5 years old, Del says. So this baby mother was probably killed by a poacher. He also believes the cub was found just in time. She wouldn't have survived another day on her own, he says. After consulting a team of local vets, the Wildlife Conservation Society decides to keep the 16-kilogram cub where she is until her condition improves. Within 2 weeks, the feline has regained her strength. This suggests to me that they've improved her condition here. But her tail is so damaged by frostbite that it could cause a deadly infection. So a team of vets visit the tiger's makeshift enclosure, tranquilizes the animal, and performs an operation to remove the injured part of the tail. Tranquilizes, we know that it means to put her at peace. So in this case, it is to put her to sleep whilst they do the operation. Then the sleepy cub is loaded into a car and driven to a Siberian tiger rehabilitation center 80 kilometers away. At the center, she is given a new name, Zolushka, which is Russian for Cinderella. I'd like you now to read Hunting School, and you're going to stop at Tower. So read through this. I'd like you to think about your intonation whilst you read, because there is some dialogue here. Fantastic, Year 6. I heard some great Del voices from you all. My turn. Even without her mother to teach her, Zolushka has the instinct to hunt for food, Adele says. After the tiger becomes comfortable snaring, which we know means to catch hares, harder to hunt animals such as wild boar are let loose in the enclosure. She soon becomes skilled at capturing all kinds of prey. The tiger seems to enjoy romping around her new home. It's great to see her progress, Dell says. Happily ever after. The following spring, 18-month-old Zolushka weighs more than 91 kilograms, as heavy as 3 10-year-old children, and she can hunt like a wild tiger. It's time to set her free. The staff sedate, which we know it means to put her to sleep, the feline, and place her in a crate. Then they drive her for 14 hours to a protected nature reserve, where Zolushka will be released. At the site, the keepers slide open the crate door. The tiger leaps to the ground and bolts into the thick bush. Zolushka is back where she belongs, Del says. It's like a fairy tale. Well done if you got through reading the text with me and read along where I've asked you to do so. We're now going to move on to some questions, and I'm going to show you those on screen. So you should be able to see the questions on screen now. So firstly, we're going to focus on word meanings, and I'm going to do the first one with you. So the next few questions, they are yours to do. So the first one, number one, Ms. Ahad is going to model that to you on screen. I'm going to read out the sentence. Look at the sentence. They rushed her to the home of the local wildlife official who's alarmed at the tiger's appearance. Circle the word that is closest in meaning to the word in bold in this sentence. So the word in bold in this sentence is alarmed, and I need to look at the different options I have. I have impressed, sad, confused, and shocked. Well, I'm going to read back my sentence and think about what does this mean in context. They rush her to the home of a local wildlife. This suggesting to me something has happened to her, which means they are not impressed. They are definitely not impressed with what they have seen because they rush her, which means the verb they rush her, it's very quick, the movement that they're going to do. Sad, maybe sad would definitely not work in this context because it doesn't suggest any emotion here that the writer has spoken about. Confused, maybe confused could work in this context because it's suggesting they rush her because of something, but let's read on. Who's alarmed at the tiger's appearance? Oh, they might be confused at the tiger's appearance, but I definitely think the word that fits in here is shocked. The reason why shocked fits in here is because they rush her because of the way they've just seen Zalushka looking. So they found her, her appearance looks quite bad, which is why they are shocked, and they rush her to the local wildlife, home of a wildlife official. So the correct word here is shocked. Now I'd like you to continue. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions in this section here, so you're just going to answer these 4 questions. So I'd like to write 1 to 4 on your page and read through these questions with me. So the first one, look at the sentence. In order to sharpen the tiger's hunting skills, her keepers release live hares into the enclosure. Circle the word that is closest in meaning to sharpen in this sentence. So think about it in context, read the sentence again to help you understand and look through the different options you have here. Number 2, look at the sentence in the introduction. Biting gusts of wind pummel a Siberian tiger as she passed through a snowy forest in eastern Russia. What does it suggest about the conditions the infant tiger was facing? Think about here, the language, biting gusts of wind pummel. What does that suggest? Do you think it will be a hot climate where she is, or a very snowy, cold climate where Zalushka is? Number 3, look at the sentence. So a team of vets visit the tiger's makeshift enclosure. What does the word in bold suggest about the tiger's enclosure at the Wildlife Conservation Centre? Think about the sentence, have a look in the section of the text which says warming up, and that will help you understand this question in context. And then lastly, look at the section hunting school, give the meaning of the word snaring in the paragraph beginning in order to sharpen. So I'd like you to answer these 4 questions and then come back to the video once you have finished so I can give you the answers. Okay, so I'm going to reveal the answers to you, so please make sure you are watching along and marking as you are watching, understanding your answers. If you've got something incorrect, that's absolutely fine. Please go back in and make your corrections so you can learn from your mistakes rapidly. So I'm going to reveal the answers to you now. We did the first one together and we know it's shocked because alarmed in this context means that they are shocked with what they have just seen with Zalushka's appearance, regarding her appearance. Number 1 for you. Look at the section. In order to sharpen the tiger's hunting skill, her keepers release live hares into the enclosure. Circle the word that is closest to the meaning to sharpen in this sentence. And in this context, it is to improve her hunting skills. That is why they release live hares into the enclosure. And then once she gets better at hunting these types of animals, she is released with live boars, which will help her to catch harder to eat animals. So that's why they have done this, to improve her hunting skills. We know that the rest of these words actually won't fit in the circumstance and the context of this sentence. So thinking about those words, please. Look at the sentence in the introduction. Biting gusts of wind pummel a Siberian tiger as she passed through a snowy forest in eastern Russia. What does this suggest about the conditions the infant tiger was facing? I've said here, and if you've written something similar, you can accept the mark. It's definitely about the weather being very cold. So that is what you have to have written in order to get the mark about the conditions of the weather. I've said she was faced in very cold conditions, making it difficult for her to survive. vibe. So definitely suggesting biting gusts of wind. This suggests that it's very windy, it's cold, snowy forest in eastern Russia, suggesting there's snow. Again, a very difficult circumstances for Zolushka as she was faced with very extreme winter conditions. That's another thing that you can write down. Next, look at the sentence. So a team of vets visits the tiger's makeshift enclosure. What does the word in bold suggest about the tiger's enclosure in the wildlife? I've said before, makeshift is actually making something quite temporary. Remember, in this context, in the section warming up, they made a temporary space for Zolushka to have her operation. So that is why they wanted to tranquilize her, make her feel at peace so she could have her operation and her tail would be almost back to normal for her. So remember, if she didn't have an operation on her tail, then she could have died with a deadly infection. So makeshift here is making a temporary space for Zolushka. That is what makeshift suggests, a temporary space. And I've said that here, a temporary place was made for Zolushka. Lastly, look at the section hunting school. Give the meaning of the word snaring in the paragraph beginning in order to sharpen. So you had to look at the section hunting school, and it says in order to sharpen Zolushka's skills, hunting skills, live hers are released into the enclosure, and that suggests that the word snaring, we know it means to catch or to hunt. So in this context, I've written snaring means to trap or catch birds or mammals, and I've written birds or mammals because these are the type of prey Zolushka is looking out for, as she is a predator. So she's at the top of the food chain and she's looking for prey. So snaring, to snare, the verb means to catch or trap birds or mammals. So well done if you've got questions 1 to 4 correct. It's now time to answer your big answer question. So it's really important you are answering that question as well. So I'm going to just show you on screen your big answer question for you to answer. So without the involvement of many different people, Zolushka wouldn't have been alive today. How far do you agree with this statement? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. So this question is 3 marks. Firstly, it's asking you how far do you agree with this statement, which means this is your opinion. Do you agree that the involvement of many different people has helped Zolushka stay alive, or do you not agree? Do you think a different way could have, something else could have happened that would have helped her stay alive? Different interventions maybe? That's up to you, it's your opinion. You're going to use evidence, it's really important. In order to get all 3 marks, you need to use evidence from the text to support your answer. So for example, I would say I agree with this statement because if the 2 men hadn't have spotted Zolushka in the forest, she wouldn't have been alive today. So that's my point here, and then I've got my piece of evidence. Then I need to give another point, so I can talk about, for example, her weight and how they've improved her weight, and then I can suggest for my evidence that they've given her food and they've kept her company, which has helped her regain her strength. And that will be my 3 full marks for that question. So I'd like you to pause the video here and have a go. Label this as question 5. It's a big answer question, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to mark through your answers at the end of the video, as if you were the examiner marking through, looking for 3 full marks for this question. So I'd like you to pause the video here and answer this question, and I'm going to show you pieces of evidence later on for you to mark your work. Okay, I'm now going to reveal the answers to you, so it's really important that you are watching along with me and listening to your answers, so the potential pieces of evidence you could have had. So if you said you agreed with this, which I think most of you would have said, because the evidence does suggest that, you could have different pieces of evidence which I'm going to underline. So for example, firstly, like I mentioned here, without the involvement of the 2 men, Zolushka would not have been found. So you could use the fact that they approached this tiger and realized she was an infant tiger. However, they noticed she was barely breathing. That is another piece of evidence to suggest that without the 2 men, the intervention of the 2 men, they would not have spotted Zolushka. So that's one piece of a point and another piece of evidence. Another one is the fact that they've actually rushed Zolushka to a home of a local wildlife official who's shocked by her appearance, which suggests that they've spotted something wrong with Zolushka, and if they hadn't have spotted this, she may not have been alive today. And then they carry her to a relaxation room to help her feel at ease. Another piece of evidence that you could have had to support this is the fact that, sorry if my screen is blinking, is the fact that they phoned the Wildlife Conservation Society as they wanted a second opinion from Dale McQuell, who actually works at the organisation, and he decides to examine the cub. In order for this to have happened, in order for them to even, the two men to take Zalushka to this Wildlife Conservation Society, it shows that they have intervened, and with the expertise of Dale, they know that she is actually alive, and he's able to examine her to see that. He examines and estimates that she's about 4 months old. Wild tiger mums care for their young until they are 1.5 years old, Dale says. So this baby mother was probably killed by a poacher, he believes. So here it's not really talking about any of her conditions, but I think later down here where it talks about the feline regaining her strength after 2 weeks suggests that with the intervention of the two men and Dale now, Zalushka has regained her strength and actually is becoming a lot stronger comparing to when she was found. Her operation again suggests that the involvement of her operation, the people that operated her, have also helped to play a massive part in the recovery of Zalushka. So that's another piece of evidence you may have written. And then I've got another one here to do with her hunting skills. They wanted to obviously make her into a better tiger and allow her to be the predator that she is. So they've helped her do this by perfecting her hunting skills. By doing this, they keep releasing live hares into the enclosure to help her practice her hunting skills. Again, this is very important because she was firstly found almost dead, barely breathing, and now she's able to hunt around. So this intervention here suggesting that they have improved Zalushka's life. And then lastly, for happily ever after this section, you could have taken from this section a piece of evidence at the fact that she's now a healthy tiger. She was found at 16 kilograms, which suggests that she was underweight for the type of tiger she is. So again, suggesting that her health has definitely improved, and she wouldn't have been alive today if she hadn't been fed, taken care of, or looked after by Dale and his team at the Wildlife Conservation Society. So well done if you marked through and got 3 marks, and if you haven't, just add in a different piece of evidence that you may have used if you looked in the text in a different section, for example. I'm now going to move on to our fun challenge for World Book Day. You can all participate in today's activity. As we know, it's World Book Day. We're celebrating all the fantastic books we have available around the world by all the great authors. So it's really important we show our appreciation. I know some of you are actually dressed in your costumes today, which is fantastic. I can't wait to see some more of them later on. Ask today for World Book Day is to create a book trailer. Now some of you are thinking, oh, a trailer, that sounds familiar. A trailer is a short snippet, usually from a film. However, you can get book trailers as well, and I will show you some today. So we're going to make a book trailer, and it's really simple. It should be no longer than a minute, so less than a minute. So make sure you are not making your trailers any longer than that. We need to keep it short and snappy for our viewers. And I know some of you are actually wearing your World Book Day costume, so this will fit in fantastically, as you might have the book at hand with you and you're dressed as a character, so you can actually show yourself in the trailer as well. That would be fantastic. So what I'm going to show you next are some tips to help you when recording your trailer. So firstly, you need to have a beginning, middle and end. Just like a movie trailer, a book trailer needs a story. So it might be that you are just reading the first few pages of your book to give a brief introduction about your book, about the character, about the setting, or you can use pictures to also describe that too. And I will show you that in my examples of different trailers I have taken. You need to be concise. So again, like I said, you need to keep it short, grab hold of the viewer's attention, and I recommend keeping your trailer under a minute, so no longer than a minute, because you need to keep your viewers' attention span going. You need to match to the tone of your book. So for example, if you are reading a horror book or a fun fantasy book, you need to make sure you're reading as if you were the character or the person, the author reading the book aloud. So it's really important to take what you see is what you get approach, which means you must read the book as if you were the character. And then lastly, you can gather assets, which means items for your book trailer. So for example, if your book, I don't know, was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, for example, you could probably be dressed up as the boy in the striped pajamas with your pajamas on, really getting to the character's thoughts and feelings. Now I'm going to show you some examples of some trailers of books we have read together as a class before. So I've got 2 examples, and I will link another one in the YouTube video below in the description box. You should be able to see another trailer there as well. So we're going to watch through the trailers, and you will see they're short, snappy trailers. One of them is just pictures with words. Another one is a child actually reading the book on top of the trailer, which is another great idea as well. So I'm just going to show you those now. So the first one is actually Street Child. If anyone has spotted Jim, our main character. So this book is a movie trailer, book trailer about Street Child. So as you've just seen, that is one way you could do your book trailer. This was just a summary of the book. However, you could do it a little bit different, and that's another book that you've read in Year 5, Holes. I think you're all familiar with this book, and this takes a different approach. This person actually reads pages from the book whilst showing different key aspects of the novel. So, for example, the setting, the characters. Comparing this to Street Child, for example, it was just a brief summary. This person hadn't read the book fully, I'm assuming, because it was just bits taken from the book. So it might be that they just wanted to give the readers a overview and not tell them everything just of yet. But you can see this version is a little bit different, and maybe you want to use this idea as well. I think reading on top of the video is a great way to actually keep your readers engaged, and you will see this from this video here.
Stanley Yelnats lives under a dark cloud. Ever since his great-great-grandfather stole a pig from an old gypsy woman, his whole family has been cursed with bad luck. Elia Yelnats left the old country to make his way in America, but the curse seemed to follow him and his descendants. No matter what they try, their luck just seems to go south. That's how Stanley was wrongly accused and convicted of stealing a pair of sneakers. He tried to explain to the judge that the shoes fell from the sky, but no one would believe his crazy story. It was either jail or reform camp. Just how bad could camp be? Stanley was about to find out. At Camp Green Lake, there is no lake. 100 years ago, this land was a lush and pleasant lakeside town, but the lake dried up in the Texas heat. All that's left is a dry lake bed. There isn't a drop of water for miles. There really isn't anything around for miles, except holes. There's plenty of holes. At Camp Green Lake, Stanley and his fellow campers dig. Every day before break of dawn, they dig. 1 hole per kid, 5 feet deep and 5 feet wide. They sometimes get a break for water, but mostly they dig. In the barren Texas desert and under the brutal rays of the sun, they dig. In amongst the rattlesnakes, scorpions, and deadly spotted lizards, they dig. No one knows what they're digging for, if anything, but they dig. The kids have been told that they are in this camp to build character and mend their ways. How, you ask? They dig. But perhaps Stanley's friendship with fellow resident Zero has a potential to change his luck forever. The key to their future lies in the stories of the past. Could all this have something to do with outlaw kissing Kate Bartlow and her long-lost treasure? Find out more by going to your local library and picking up a copy of Louis Satchar's Holes.
Now, You've seen 2 examples of 2 different types of book trailer, one just giving an overview of the book, one actually reading pages taken from the book and using images to describe the setting, description, the characters from the book as well. So it's up to you how you would like to do it. If you don't want to use a device and record yourself or snip bits together, that's absolutely fine. What you can do is make a storyboard, so you can draw a storyboard from one of your favorite books. It's up to you to pick a book. I've just given you some suggestions of books we've read together as a class. So it's up to you to pick which book you'd like to do. I know some of you are dressed as your favorite characters, so I can't wait to see them through your book trailer as well. So please make sure you submit them onto Seesaw, and we are looking for some winners to win this little competition that your teachers are running here. So good luck, and I will see you all on Monday.